Jim and I are from an organisation called Veterans for Peace. It's an organisation that consists of ex-servicemen and ex-service women from a growing number of countries who've come to the conclusion that war is irrational and immoral. War is irrational because the consequences are never predictable. The reason that we start these wars are rarely the reasons that we give at the end of the wars when we pronounce our victories. War is also immoral. War isn't about those poppies pouring out of the Tower of London. War is about blood pouring out of men, women and children, and we should do well to remember that whilst this nonsense is being shoved down our throats. Quite frankly, just let this pass. Quite frankly, I find it weird that as a society in 2014 we are spending 50 million quid remembering a war that started 100 years ago, that did not lead to peace. It led to a century of warfare. A century of warfare that is still playing out in the Ukraine, still playing out in Gaza, playing out in Libya. I find it weird that the custodians of remembrance, the Royal British Legion, still focus all of their energy on the UK dead, the British dead. They will not acknowledge that anyone else in the world died in these wars. Last year, I met with the head of remembrance of the Royal British Legion, and she invited us, Veterans for Peace, to march in the official Cenotaph Parade. And I asked her, I said, well, next year in 2014, we hope to have German veterans with us. Would that be okay? Her face turned to stone. She said that remembrance was about the British dead, and that is the people who are running all of this charade. Within Veterans for Peace, we work towards the abolishment of war. We work in 3 areas: education. We go into schools and speak to children about the true nature of war. Resistance through non-violent action, and solidarity with organisations and individuals who are working through non-violence to abolish war. On November the 9th this year, we'll be marching to the Cenotaph again. We march under a banner of Never Again, to try and promote the true message of the armistice, that this was such a terrible thing that it must never happen again. And I invite you all to march with us on Remembrance Sunday in 2014. Jim Radford, last year and this year, will sing at the Cenotaph, and we're going to finish off with Jim singing a song called 1916. So I'd like to hand over to Jim, who is a veteran of D-Day and also a veteran of the peace movement for over 50 years. Ladies, Jim Radford.
This song is written by Lenny Kilminster of Motorhead. Not really a folk song, but it sounds like a folk song. And we sang it at the Cenotaph last year. It went down very well. There he goes. "16 years old when I went to the war, to fight for a world fit for heroes. Gun in my hand and God on my side, chasing my days down to zero. And we marched and we fought and we bled and we died, and I never did get any older. But I knew at the time that a year in the line was a long enough life for a soldier. How we all volunteered and we wrote down our names, and we added 2 years to our ages. We were eager for life and ahead of the game, ready for history's pages. And we brawled and we fought and we hoed till we stood 10,000 shoulder to shoulder. With a thirst for the Hun, we were food for the gun. and that's how it is for a soldier. Oh, I heard my friend cry as he fell to his knees, coughing blood as he screamed for his mother. And I fell by his side, and that's how he died, clinging like kids to each other. And I lay in the blood and the guts and the mud, and I wept as his body grew colder. And I called for my mother, but she never came, though it wasn't my fault and I wasn't to blame. And the day not half over and 10,000 slain. Now there's nobody even remembers our names. And that's how it is for a soldier. There you go.